This is a good place to start.
Still feeling a bit shaky about this recording myself, talking to myself, which is crazy since I do it regularly and off the dome. Anyways, welcome back. We've made it to 6 days of the 7-day debut, and honestly, I'm quite proud of myself to maintain this consistency. Granted, I planned this out and arranged for it to be, but still, the editing and uploading might be kicking my ass. But that's not what you're here for. So, honey or spice, pick your advice. Today will be a bit of a shorter story collection since I'm prepping for the final debut day of Lucky or Unlucky 7. I think there's a story about the number 7. I'll find it again for sure. So, these are more of your downtime quick reads. We're starting off with Backdoor Neighbors. The pun is literally right there. It's a manhwa by Leemanse, story and art, 9 chapters completed and a very easy read. The characters. There's Hiiii and Hiiii who, look here, is it me? Or is it that the majority of stories that have been coming out these days to flip the stereotypical notion of generalized perception? Yes, another one. Younger top, older bottom. Hiiii is strong-willed, dependable foreign boy that supports his community and has grown up there his entire life, while Hiiii is a city boy who's terrible at farming and lifting anything that isn't Hiiii. He's also a bit deceptive as he has a secret reason for being there. Summary. The small-town farmer life is all Hiiii has known his whole life. He's never been into mystery, intrigue, or complications. But all of that appears in the form of his newly hired helper, Hiiii, who is absolutely useless at farming. But Hiii's true talents lay somewhere else, mainly in the bed. If only they could actually get into a bed somehow. If this ain't your first rodeo, then you know a bed or lack thereof stops nothing. The characters will always find a way. But pretty much, it kind of kicks off in the first chapter to set up the dynamic, which starts us at the semi-current plot point. However, the next chapter or so does the reverse and leads us up to how this even got started. There's some, I wouldn't call it plot points, but something similar, and the truth about Hiii's reasons for being at the farm are revealed. Since he's weird about bringing Hiiii further into his house, the title is literal and pun intentional. Tags. Adult, mature, smut, drama, full color, no, I still don't know, and romance. Those are pretty solid. I've also stopped including the manhwa and webtoon tag because, also no, I can't figure that out. Plus, I won't be looking it up. I just kind of like going with the flow. Strengths/weaknesses, it doesn't take long to build up and it's cutesy funny. There's not really drama, just a single-ish point where the truth comes out. But I like that sometimes. It's just a sweet, smutty time. I don't really think there can be weaknesses when it's short like this because we're getting a snapshot into a portion of the characters' lives, you know? Unless it's some actual nonsense that cannot be ignored. Opinion/conclusion. If you're looking for a quick, cute ride with good smut, then proceed worry-free as there is nothing but good vibes ahead. Target audience/flag, positively a green flag. Even with the secret reveal, both characters are fairly caring of one another and make their relationship work. Yes, it has a happy ending, okay? Next is S.O.S. Sleep or Sex by Mango with art by Sangdan. That's a manhwa. Fairly short with only 10 chapters and it's not a wild ride, but there's turbulence that in no way has to be solved the way it is. Characters. The characters are, I'm not gonna hold you. It don't even matter. Irrelevant to say the least. When I get to the plot points, you'll be like, okay, Summary. Sleepless nights, haunting dreams, and a desperate wish bring college student Choi Woo Hyuk face to face with an unexpected visitor, an impossibly handsome incubus who claims to have been summoned by his own desires. But when fantasy and reality blur, that's actually not a good line for real. Woo Hyuk's restless nights take a steamy, surreal turn he never saw coming. Plot. I know you're foaming at the mouth. Like, you just gave us the name. It's in the description. Use it. Baby, I don't know who that is. And I reread it before typing out this script. Ain't no plot. I mean, there might have been one at the beginning, but I assure you, it's all fantasy. What reality they speak of is figmented. It's us reading it. There's a really cool concept of the universe introduced, and yet it's high-key/low-key sabotage or attempted, maybe. But baby, this ain't going nowhere you think it is. Straight smut. I mean, not so straight. But when I say the smut is crazy, sex is not the answer. But in this compilation, it still ain't. You finna see. That's all you finna see. There's also a DP. Thank me later. Why is that a rarity? Tags. Adult, mature, smut. Demons, full color, romance. I'm gonna put a question mark here and explain it in a minute. Supernatural, strengths/weaknesses. Don't ask me no hard questions, okay? What was the story about? But the smut. Opinion/conclusion. I cannot emphasize enough that there's a hard left turn and that this is smut. I can't even tell you if the ending is happy or not. Question mark on the romance? I wouldn't say all that. There may have been intentions, but it's why this isn't green. If you read it, you'll understand. Since the consent on one is dubious, I mean, I'm still not certain for real. Like, oh boy, you don't know who that is when you read it. I guarantee it. He didn't want it to go down like that, but maybe until the end. Target audience/flag. If you're looking for smut with an appetizer of a plot/concept, then sign yourself up to enjoy this yellow flag story. And it's only yellow because he's thinking he's having nightmares. Or not really. I'm not going to spoil it because that's literally the only thoughts of plot. Since it's a shorter read day, I will throw in Shikonin. It's a manga by Repamido and it's a one-shot. If there's a segue into the smut, I don't know it. But there's something about ninjas. Anyway, this one is top tier. Gotta be. Because that's all there is, okay? And the characters are it. Moving on. The last overview of the day is Cigarettes and Chocolate by Huihui, with art by Bingsoo. That's a manhwa with 6 chapters. Characters. The characters are S.O.S and the Duke. Yes, it is. Anyways, S.O.S is a sweetheart that's a bit naive to say the least, but he's so loving and precious. A bit pushy depending on how you look at it. The Duke isn't cold-hearted or anything, but he does act a bit standoffish at times and indifferent, even though he knows exactly what's going on. Summary. As a young boy, S.O.S escaped his father's abuse with the help of a mysterious young man. 20 years later, he is lucky enough to work as a servant in the noble household. There, S.O.S lives happily, but his only concern is that he has fallen in love with his master, the Duke. This is historical, by the way, because I just realized how that sounds, so it's literal, LOL. He pours out his heart and boldly tries to seduce him, but the Duke remains unmoved, simply finding S.O.S endearing. One day, S.O.S hears the news of the Duke's remarriage, and with a mind determined to get what he wants, makes a wish at a fountain, hoping the Duke will fall in love with him. However, a young Duke from 20 years in the past suddenly appears before him. Plot. Crazy work. But the summary literally tells the whole story. Like, that's wild. Again, I usually don't read the summaries of BLs I'm getting into, and generally it's my first time seeing these when I type up the script. I personally would have left out the last line because it's a spoiler. The spoiler. That's the story for real. But it starts off showing us the current dynamic. The other servants telling Alois he wasn't going to be successful, yet everyone is very aware of Alois's feelings. The hair conversation arrives, and suddenly there's talk of remarriage. So Alois takes off to a magical fountain and makes a wish. I will say that the plot does a little twist here, but I like it because it does creep into Jutto Mate territory. Plus, the Duke's backstory is super short, but takes the story from cute and sweet to a brief moment of hold on. Tags, adult, smut, age gap, historical, romance, time travel, those are solid. I would like to take a moment here to throw shade at how each of these tags, ones the creators or publishing companies, add adult in. So, on to the strengths and weaknesses. Can I just say it's too short and move on? Because I actually cannot separate what pops off either. The shortness doesn't give us a chance to figure out what the literal fuck was happening in the Duke's backstory or necessarily why Alois was treated the way he was. Like, there's hints, but if the author isn't going to expound on what got us to the point of reckoning, I can't really critique anything other than what I see. I will be getting my ass on AO3, maybe two, hopefully, to spin out about theories of the unsaid that lurk in the background and wish someone also had that moment of, girl, forget the main story. What was going on there? Or get to the point where I'm not super busy and just have to write it myself for closure. Anyways, opinion conclusion. It's a cute, fun read that does come full circle for the information provided and ends happily. If you're looking for something that's yearning, reciprocated, then this is it. Target audience / flag. Green flag. No doubts about it. You will kick your feet and giggle a bit, so I hope you enjoy it. Okay. Thank you for your time and energy so far, even if no one has actually watched this in real time so far. I'm still super proud of myself for fighting to stay here, fighting to find my thing that makes me happy to talk about, as happiness is but a fleeting moment in a void of desolate options which forced us against our will to exist and somehow figure out the impossible. I'm incredibly proud of younger me. It is when I look back on this, okay, for pushing through. Day 7, or tomorrow rather, is the end of debut week, and I'll be uploading BL overviews, not reviews. Reviews imply spoilers, and I'm not really trying to give you that, unless you inquire specifically. Every 4 days. Same format. Hopefully there's commentary of how to improve, or rather, people commenting things that they need the 411 about before ruining their retinas. I will let you in on a secret. Since I started late into this world, I know Kusabe, the animated movie, both versions, was my very first introduction into this BL medium. I would say it's 86's, the anime's fault, but the truth is it all started with Attack on Titan. I know that sounds like a crazy jump, but one day I'll for sure give the full story. But alas, this is see you later. Tomorrow's day 7, and I'm too excited to talk about my ongoing list. Bye!